Hello.
Oh,
Yeah, I just have my water right by me. I can just get up.
wait, is it alright if I
I
use
have
sparkling
water.
water instead of? Is it alright if I use sparkling water? Does it make any difference? Okay.
I have some. I just have some bottled water. Bottle of water.
Boil of water.
Yeah,
A boil of water.
a bottle of water.
Why is the music still there? There we go. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody in Discord. Hello, everybody. We're back. Oh my gosh, we're back. Okie dokie, welcome to my voice modification workshop. Oh my gosh, I haven't set my camera up. I'm so trash at this. Give me just a second, guys. I can't believe I didn't do that. Okay, 1 second. Okay, camera is set up. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. It's a little bit of an angle, oh my gosh. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. That's not really very good, but it'll have to do. Okay, let me just see. How terrible does that look right now? Ah, it's not too bad. It's definitely a bit of an angle like, but these are all the things that you should do before you start streaming. Okay, we're good. Welcome to my messy room. Okie dokie, guys. So, thank you so much for coming to my workshop. We're going to be going over everything to do with trans voice, gender-affirming voice, from start to finish, whether you're masculizing, whether you're feminizing, whether you're androgynizing, the whole lot we're going to be doing today. Okay? So, let's go straight ahead with it. Firstly, workshop rules and etiquette. It's not anything crazy. I just ask for everybody to be really respectful of the learning environment, respectful for your people trying to be here and learn, and I suppose respectful to my time as well. Mainly that's in the form of try to keep things muted when it's not relevant for you to be speaking. And then when you are unmuted, if you can keep things like on topic, so questions about stuff, I'd love to hear your questions. But I don't necessarily need to hear about the latest Lego set you just bought. Keep things on topic. We're all trying to learn here. And hopefully that can be really good. Also, we will have a open forum section for one-on-one stuff at the end. So if you just have general questions or you want me to review your voice, I will absolutely do that during this workshop. But save that to the end, please. So we can get through like the general stuff that's for everyone reasonably easily. Okie dokie. But there will be points where I'll be like, hey, do you have questions? And then during those moments, you are absolutely welcome to unmute and you can ask those like over voice if you'd like to. YouTube, if you're confused about all of that, I'm in 3 different Discords right now. So those are people that you hear when you do hear people. And if you'd like to be a part of that, you can join our Discord over at Trans Network. It'll be a link somewhere underneath me now. Yeah, head over to the Discord. It's where all of my stuff is. It's where you can get all of the stuff that is me helping you. Okie dokie. So, who am I? My name's Sarah. I've been training my voice since like, it was either October or November of 2023 that I started. I don't remember exactly which month it is. I should check my my YouTube history. I started off just watching some trans voice lessons YouTube videos like everybody else did. And I then got a speech language pathologist to help me just work with my voice. And then just lots of my own research. I've sort of, because I've built it a lot from my own research without necessarily having a teacher like all there all the time, but I've also had a teacher for a little bit so that I could like ask them questions and stuff. It's given me a really good opportunity to just build up all the extra knowledge and stuff. And I just got really into it. So yeah, I label myself as an aspiring vocal coach. I currently don't charge for, so I do private lessons, but I don't charge for them. I'm hoping to one day be the real thing. I'm just sort of gaining experience through these workshops, through doing free lessons with you guys one-on-one, the free private lessons, the free everything. Yeah, it's all for building experience for me so that I can then go professional. Speaking of which, we have very recently, and this is really exciting and kind of life-changing for me, we've recently been invited to be part of the apprentice teacher program over at Singuistics. Charles is teaching me and a group of others for free, which is really amazing of him. So I'm going to be a legit voice coach in like 5 weeks or something. It's insane. It's insane. But yeah, so that's really, really exciting. And yeah, if you appreciate me being trained, then head over to Synguistic Server as well. I'll talk about that right at the very, very end of the workshop, because we really appreciate what they're doing for us. Yeah, tell Charles that Zara sent you. Okay, who am I not? This is also really important, or this is more important than what we've just done. I'm not a medical professional. I don't have any medical qualifications at all. I got an A level in biology where I got like an E or something. It was horrible. So I'm not medically qualified at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm not treating you for any medical conditions. I'm never ever diagnosing you with any medical conditions. I'm never giving you any medical advice. The closest we will ever come to it is if I hear something in your voice during like a one-on-one and I'm like, hey, that sounds like there's something wrong here, then I might recommend you speak to a doctor. That's it. That's as far as that conversation goes. And again, it's not a diagnosis. It's just a, hey, you should book an appointment with your doctor. Okie dokie. Any questions about that before we move on? Anyone in any of the chats? People are in the YouTube chat. Hi, people in the YouTube chat. Hi, Himari. Hi, Mioni. No questions. No worries. All right. So let's go into our very first section. We're going to talk about voice, how the voice works, a bit of vocal hygiene stuff, and all of that. So we'll start off with maintaining vocal health because that's important. You've got to be doing that. Okay, things that are important that you should be doing to keep your vocal tract nice and healthy. Staying hydrated is really important. You remember I asked all of you to drink a pint of water before the lesson. Normally it would have been 1 hour beforehand, but I was in the middle of a Binding of Isaac run and it was going really good and I didn't see the time. It is what it is. Point is, stay hydrated throughout the whole day. And if you know you're going to be doing like an intensive bit of voice training, then make sure you have like a good load of water before that to make sure you're nice and hydrated. Also, you want to be hydrating ahead of time because when you drink water, you don't directly hydrate the vocal tract. There are two little tracts. You've got the pharynx, which is for air, food, and water, and you've got your larynx, which is just for air. That's where our voice stuff is. So obviously when you drink, it goes down the water hole, not the air hole. That's why you don't choke on it, which means nothing's getting directly hydrated. So when you drink, it goes down the pharynx, through the esophagus and into your digestive system. Then it goes into your bloodstream, and then your blood goes to your vocal folds and your vocal tract as it goes to everywhere. And then you finally actually start hydrating stuff. So it's quite a long process before they actually get hydrated. Make sure you're drinking at least like 20 minutes in advance to make sure you're going to be hydrated enough for when you do whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Not super relevant for short practices, but if you plan to do like an hour-long sit down, I'm going to figure something out, then you're going to want to drink plenty ahead of time for that. Okay, also important, make sure that you are staying nice and relaxed. Everything we do with our vocal, with our voice at all, whenever you are relaxed, you're going to expand the range of stuff you can do. When things are stiff, they don't move as nicely, you're more likely to cause some damage. Whereas when they're relaxed, you can stretch out nicely and you get the full range of what you're capable of. So make sure you're keeping things nice and relaxed. Never push anything, never force anything. Warm-ups are really good. Warm-ups are good because they will increase blood flow to the region and they will clear away mucus. So mucus is sort of good. Like you want good mucus maintenance, but you don't want too much, you don't want too little. Doing your softies is going to help. We'll talk about what softies are later, but they're basically a warm-up. Doing your warm-ups is going to help you maintain proper mucus levels. It's going to help you to clear away any waste, and it's going to help increase blood flow to the area. As I said earlier, increased blood flow to the area is going to help you with the hydration stuff. It's also just going to give things a nice stretch out. It's like anything where you're doing exercise. You wanna warm up first. So the last thing you should be doing is make sure you're having fun. And this is like more important than most things where people say, oh, have fun with it. You actually really want to be having fun and not like super stressing out, tunnel focusing on one thing. Because if you're stressing out about it, you're not going to stay relaxed. You're going to be more likely to injure yourself and cause some strain. And you're probably not going to be exploring as much. You really Voice is all about exploring, seeing how different things feel and sound. How do I make this kind of a sound? How do I make this kind of sound? What happens when I do this? The more you explore, the faster you learn. So yeah, have some fun with it. And also, like, it's really cool doing voice stuff, you know? So have fun. Okay, things to avoid. These first bunch are really not a big deal. The last few are more of a big deal. Also, I am recovering from a little bit of a cold, so my voice is just a little bit sore. Do as I say and not as I do. If you're sore, you should take time off. But I'm a freaking person that's doing training stuff, so I'm not going to do that. But you should. Do not do as I'm doing. You should give yourself a break if you're ill. But yeah, so if my voice sounds a bit off sometimes, it's just because I'm a little bit ill. If something seems unclear, just ask me to repeat the sound. And yeah, we can just re-go over things if it didn't come through very clearly. Also, I'm going to be drinking lots. Warm-up training, we will go over that in a few slides' time, okay? When I go over something called softies, that's going to be that. Opinions on tea, honey. Opinions on tea plus honey before warm-up and training. Yeah, tea plus honey is good. I would say a herbal tea is going to be better than a caffeine tea, which I will tell you why. You can see it, things to avoid, in just a sec. So, spicy food. The reason that you are able to taste spice is there's a particular molecule called capsaicin. Capsaicin does cause a little bit of irritation for the vocal tract. Not a huge deal, but like if you've ever had a chili pepper and then you like start coughing afterwards, that's because of that capsaicin causing a little bit of irritation in your vocal tract. Really not a big deal. I don't care if you're having like a whole bunch of chilies in the day. Just don't have them right before doing any voice training. Yeah, I don't want you to have an irritated vocal tract right before your voice training. Rest of the day, I don't care. You do what you want. Caffeine, again, not a huge deal, but it does cause a little bit of irritation to the vocal tract and it does dehydrate you a bit. So again, double espresso right before voice training or like a Red Bull or whatever, probably not the best idea. If you've got a Red Bull right now, put it away, stick to just water, and that's going to be much better. Again, I don't mind if you're drinking coffees or teas or whatever, just not whilst you're training, or right before you're training. Okie dokie. Sugar, again, same as the other two, not really a big deal, does dehydrate you a bit, don't be excessive. Smoking and vaping is obviously more of a serious thing. You all know by now that smoking obviously damages your vocal tract. It just straight up causes damage, causes cancer, and is generally not good. You know this, the world knows this, everybody knows this. I'm not saying you have to quit today, but if you just keep things in moderation, then that'll be better than going excessive. And again, not right before your voice training. Chronic smoker and you vape quite a lot, try to avoid it right before your voice training. And if you can reduce it, that would be amazing. I'm aware this is an addiction and I'm not going to tell you that you have to quit right this very second. But if you can keep it in moderation and yeah, don't smoke anything right before, don't vape anything right before doing your voice training because it's going to cause a bit of damage and a bit of irritation. Okie dokie, and that does include vaping. Okay, dairy. Dairy's a weird one. Dairy increases your mucus production. I did say earlier that some mucus is good, but increasing it, dairy increases it regardless of whether you need it. So you could be at a perfectly fine level and then you have a bunch of dairy and then you're just excessively producing and it's like causing a problem. You're constantly clearing your throat and stuff, causing a little bit of irritation. Again, like the others, really not a big deal. Just don't have a bunch of milk right before your voice training. As you can tell, a lot of these I've just gone over, they're really, I super don't want to fearmonger them. Like, they're really, really not a big deal. It's just a matter of they could intrude on your actual training itself. That's it. I don't care what you do the rest of the day. Okie dokie, these next few do matter a bit more. If you feel strain in your voice, if you're feeling pain or discomfort, or if you're feeling tension, these are signs that something is going wrong. You'll never produce a sound that you're wanting to make when you're doing any of these things. Anything that causes strain is just sounding strained. It's not sounding more feminine, more masculine, more androgynous. It just sounds strained. Same with all the other ones I've just labelled there. If you're feeling pain specifically, then you might be doing some damage. If you were to push through that pain and just keep doing the damage, you're gonna eventually, you could cause some more serious damage. Vocal injuries happen. They're reasonably common. They're not a huge deal. You take a day off or two, and then you should be fine. If you were to sustain a vocal injury and you keep just plowing through, then you can cause a more serious issue. Scar tissue can start to build. You can have little vocal nodes that start to form, and those need to be removed surgically. So if you're feeling pain or discomfort, you should stop because something's going wrong. Again, I don't want to like super firm on you. Even if you like to like hurt yourself a little bit, it's not a big deal. You'll just have to take a day or two off, and then you'll be totally fine again. But I don't want you just pushing through. It's that idea of like no pain, no gain is like super false in voice training. If you're feeling pain, you're backtracking. Things are getting worse. So yeah, none of this should hurt. None of this should be uncomfortable. It shouldn't be like strenuous on you. It could be like mentally quite a lot to think about, but it shouldn't be physically difficult to do. Okay? As you're going to hear, even while I'm ill and things are a bit more rough for me, I'll be able to talk through this whole workshop and it won't be any more difficult than using my unmodified voice would have been. Again, though, like you might hear a little bit of weirdness in mine just because I'm a little bit ill, and you should definitely, if you're ill, take some days off. It's not a big deal. Okie dokie. So, I should offer an opportunity for any questions before I move on. Yeah, any questions about just maintaining vocal health? No questions? No worries. Okie dokie. So, how do you voice? How do you talk? So, the mechanism behind how you talk is pretty simple, actually. Excuse me. So essentially, air comes out through the lungs and up your trachea. Okay? This is sort of the power, like you could say this is the fuel for your voice. Okay? It's like the petrol or diesel or whatever, or gasoline if you're American. Your air starts coming through. It's just air at this point. There's no sound. It's just air. It comes up into your larynx. That's where your Adam's apple is. Everybody has an Adam's apple, even women, like even cis women. It's just smaller for them. Yeah, into your larynx, where the air intersects with your vocal folds. Now, your vocal folds, you can see in that little picture that's like going crazy. They like flap open and closed like that. Okay, just constant open and closing. You can see they're going a little bit crazy in that image there. They'll do that at like, depending on the pitch, like 180, 200, 220 opening closings per second. So really, really quickly. As they do that, that's chopping that air up and it's applying sound. So now we have a sound, okay? That sound then bounces around in your vocal tract, through your mouth, through your like nasal cavity, through all of that, and then eventually goes out your mouth as words. Okay, so to recap, air goes up through the vocal tract, intersects with the vocal folds, where it gets sound. That sound bounces around and is modified a little bit, and then eventually exits the mouth. Okay, alrighty. So, how does testosterone fuck with us? So, firstly, testosterone will thicken your vocal folds. That's going to cause, when they close, you're going to have more closure, okay? That's going to mess with the sound, all right? Having more closure is going to sound a little bit buzzier, a little bit heavier, all right? If you've heard people talk about vocal weight, that's this stuff, all right? Or if you've heard of like quotient, that's this stuff, okay? If you're closed more than you're open, that's going to be buzzier, it's going to be heavier, okay? It's going to be a closed quotient. If it's open more than it's closed, it's going to sound more light, it's going to sound gentler, It's going to sound less buzzy. I'll demonstrate all of those in the quotient section. Okay. Your vocal folds are also going to lengthen out. Okay. That's going to allow you to go to lower pitches. All right. Which most people will just do without even thinking about it. Okay. Real simple. Larynx. Again, we talked about the larynx. That's where your vocal folds are. It's like a little box of cartilage. If people say the voice box, that they're talking about the larynx. It's like a little box of cartilage. The larynx is going to lengthen, okay? That's going to allow, so as the sound is bouncing around, it's going to be bouncing around a larger space, all right? Which is going to change your sound as well, okay? And we'll go over all of those different things of how it changes it in the relevant sections. Yeah, so the point is, testosterone is going to make thicker vocal folds, which will produce a heavier sound. It's going to lengthen the vocal folds, which is going to produce a lower pitch, and it's going to enlarge the vocal tract so that it's going to create a darker resonance. Okay, it's going to have a longer larynx. Your larynx is going to sit a little lower. Yeah, okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. Any questions about that? And what testosterone does?
Can you say again what's the difference between
Excuse me.
vocal fold thickening and lengthening?
Yeah, sorry, what was the question there?
The difference between thickening and lengthening.
Yeah, sure. So for vocal folds, okay, let's say my hands are vocal folds, okay, and they're going like this. They're closed and they're open. If it gets longer, imagine my fingers getting longer, okay, so like gets to that distance, okay. If they're getting thicker, imagine like this distance gets thicker, okay, like I've now got like 2 hands on each side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Fab. All right. Oh, I see another question being typed out. Can you train your vocal folds and larynx to learn how to thicken and lengthen without testosterone/HRT for trans guys? So, in terms of as trans people, if we're trying to just modify our voice from behavior, we're not going to be thickening or lengthening anything, but we're going to be behaviorally changing things, okay? So let's say, remember I said the vocal fold thickening, okay, we're causing more vocal fold closure. But what if we, from behavior, was to just close less, okay? What if we learn to do that? Well, now I've just undone the effects of that testosterone in terms of what it's doing to the voice. Or in the reverse, if you're transmasc, if you're trying to masculize things, okay, if we were to close more manually, if we were to like behaviorally do that, we're going to have that effect without the thicker vocal folds. Same with the larynx. The larynx is lengthening because of testosterone. But what if I was to just drop my larynx lower behaviorally? Okay, if I sat it lower, that's stretching everything out a bit. Now we have that larger vocal tract. Okay, and I'll explain to you how to do that behaviorally shortly. I should just leave that open because I'm going to be drinking a whole ton. Does that make sense? So all of these things are going to be happening physically in terms of by testosterone exposure. So we're going to, through behavior, move those things back or do those things when we haven't had that testosterone. Okay? Yeah, so we're not literally physically changing your vocal tract. We're just doing different things with the vocal tract to simulate or emulate the effects of having testosterone or to emulate having never had testosterone. Okay? So absolutely, if you're trying to masculize your voice, you don't need testosterone. You can sound like, just as I start, you could sound all the way down here without testosterone. It's entirely possible. You just need to learn how. Yeah? Okie dokie. Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's go over how we do it. So firstly, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up and then we'll get into things. So, I mentioned warm-ups earlier. They're going to increase blood flow and they're going to stretch everything out a bit. Things are going to feel more limber. They're going to feel like they can just move a lot more. Everything just feels easier after you've done some warm-ups. So we're going to be doing semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, or in short, SOVTs. A SOVT is, the idea is essentially, we've talked about how sound is produced, air coming up through the lungs, blah, 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 blah. If you imagine that literally happening, that's a lot of air pressure on your vocal folds going in this direction. So if we were to semi-occlude, or just partially close, something at the front of the vocal tract, now we've got that partial blockage, we're creating back pressure, okay? So pressure's going up, but pressure's also going down again, okay? That's gonna counteract some of that pressure and reduce the pressure on our vocal folds, all right? So there's a number of ways we can create that partial blockage. My go-to, my favorite, is the lip trill. It's very, very simple. You just go. There's lots of others we can do. We could do a tongue trill. We could do, we could move around a Z. We could move around an N. We could do a yang. What are some others? I think those are the ones off the top of my head that are like the easy ones to do. We don't do a hum. We don't go hum, because doing that sound, okay, it reduces the amount of pressure that you can create to back push, okay? Just because of the way your mouth is shaped when you go you just don't create enough pressure. But all of your ones are totally fine. Lip trills are a really good one. They're very popular. Most people, that's their favorite. The absolute best one you can do though is called a bubble phonation or a straw phonation. The idea is essentially you get a straw, okay? You get a bottle of water. You could do a glass of water, but you will make a mess because we're going to be blowing some bubbles. And you literally just, exact same as what we've just been doing, but stick a straw in your mouth and stick it in the water. Yeah, so you're just blowing bubbles and you're humming through it. All right. Now, that's definitely the best one. However, you usually don't have a straw on you. You usually don't have a bottle of water. If you've got a glass of water, you're making a whole mess. It's just not very convenient. So if you're in a convenient situation where you can be doing that, by all means do it. I tend to have my students doing lip trills because they can do it whenever. And I want to make sure that there's as few barriers to you doing this as possible to make sure you do it, okay? Homework is important. You need to do it. We need to practice. So I want as little barriers as possible for you to practice. So for that reason, lip trill is a really good second best. Okay, any questions about how that works before we do some?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Why is straw phonation better? So I talked about how we want that partial blockage because we want some pressure pushing back, okay? We call it intraoral pressure, okay? You don't need to worry about what that means, just more pressure pushing back, okay? To balance things out. Straw phonation produces the most pressure. It's as simple as that. All the others are a bit samey, apart from because that doesn't really produce much. The rest of them are pretty samey, but straw phonation produces the most. Simple enough? Fab, okie dokie. So let's go through some. You're welcome to join me either unmuted, muted, whatever you want to do. Let's do some softies. Okay? So if you do choose to unmute, remember YouTube can hear you. Okay? They can't see you, but they can hear you. All right? So let's go through some. Real simple. We're going to do small movements and we're going to build it up. Okay? And I want you going up and down in pitch. So, real simple. Let's go for it. By the end, I want you going to your absolute max range. That's going to be the next one for me, okay? Okie dokie, that's how we do them. And then I'd like to add a little extra one to get a little extra stretch. And at this one, we're going to do some sirens at each end, okay? Why can't you lip trill for as long at a time? It's probably a breathing thing. You're probably pushing too much air, and so you're just running out of air. You might be creating too much pressure as well by doing so much air. What you can do if you're struggling with a lip trill is just push in on your cheeks a little bit. So that will help increase that intraoral pressure without you having to blow harder, yeah? Because we're just making a smaller space, yeah? Does it say anything about our voice if we can't maintain duration? Depends on why you can't maintain duration. If you're struggling with technique, then it's just a matter of practice, okay? And all that means is you're doing something wrong. I would need more information to know what you're doing wrong. If you're like already getting tired and worn out, then you could be a vocal underdoer. Vocal underdoers are people who talk very, very little in a day, like very, very little. I'm talking like an hour or two max. Yeah, they talk very, very little in a day. So vocal folds, the muscles that control them, start to atrophy a little bit. This is pretty rare. Like you really have to not be talking almost at all. For those people, they're going to just literally get tired more quickly. And they are going to be the only people here that do actually need to build a bit of muscle. Most of us, all of us, none of us are going to be building muscle. It's just those people that are doing that. For them, the solution is, again, softies, because they do make for a nice little workout and you just build yourself up. So Ponderosa, it depends on why you're struggling to maintain duration. If you're pushing a lot, that could be a problem. If your like lips are really tight, like if you're going like, that's obviously a problem. I want a nice, okay? So it depends on what's going on. You struggle with maintaining your resonance, we'll go over resonance later. And pitch, and it drops over time, but you know if you go too high, then it's a waste of air. I'll go over that later when we go over resonance. Remind me of that question when we get to that bit, okay? Okie dokie. No worries. Any other questions? You can do lip trills easily with just air, but as soon as you add pitch, it stops working. So adding pitch is important, okay? You're not really doing a softie unless you're going, like if you're just going, you're not really doing anything. When your pitch is applied, that means your vocal folds are doing stuff. That's them chopping up the air, okay? If they're just staying open, then there's nothing for them to do, okay? So you do need to be adding pitch. If it just stops working there, you're probably pushing really hard, okay? I don't want you going like, you can hear even it started off just not working until I ran out of like air and stuff. So you want to be nice and gentle, just like your ordinary talking. It's the exact same as going, but like, yeah? So just keep it nice and gentle, all right? If you're struggling, have an experiment. Just play around with it. See if you can find a way to make it sound like mine, yeah? Just tweak things until you get it right. Oh, you might find as well, wet lips makes it a little bit easier sometimes. You have a question, but you don't know if it's all right. You're always welcome to ask questions. When you're humming, sometimes the sound doesn't come out and it goes just out. It goes out as just air. Usually happens when going through higher pitches. When you say humming, do you mean because I'm not sure how that could come out as just air. Your mouth is closed. I'm not sure if I can do that with just air. I guess I can just... Do you mean just breathing out your nose? Okay, just literally just breathing out your nose. Okay. Can I even do that? Okay, yeah, I know what's happening. Again, okay, you're doing the same thing. You're pushing really hard. Do you feel how, like, when you try to go to the higher pitch, you're like pushing it and forcing it? That's what's wrong, okay? You don't want to be pushing it. You want to be nice and gentle going up, okay? You'll know you're pushing it because it'll go like this. Yeah? So don't push it, don't force it. Be nice and gentle, okay? Remember what I was saying earlier, we don't want anything to feel uncomfortable. We don't want things to feel difficult like that. No pushing, no forcing, just nice and gentle, okay? That's what I want from you. If you're unsure how to do that, experiment. Play with different ways that you can get up there until you find it. If you're really struggling, the straw phonations are specifically good for that, okay? If you're really, really struggling to reduce that amount of pushing, so to everyone that I'm saying stop pushing, straw phonations are really good to stop you pushing, okay? You'll feel it, you'll be like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do it, okay? So have a go over straw phonations if you're really struggling with the pushing thing. What if there's significantly more gravel on the way back down? Do you mean like... I can't even do gravel. Hang on. I'm not sure how you're doing gravel on a lip trill. Are you doing a lip trill or are you doing something else? I struggle to tell why I get really strained sometimes, but other times I can maintain my pitch just a little above your normal level. So maintaining pitch isn't really going to be something that matters very much. It's just a thing for you doing with the warm-ups. That said, if you're struggling with anyone that's struggling with strain, when it's relating to these pitch slides, bubble phonations, they are going to be key. They're going to really, really, really help you. Okay. And as a reminder, that's literally just... I recommend a bottle instead of a glass of water. You could do a glass of water, but it's going to get messy because we're blowing bubbles. It's the exact same as what we were just doing. Hopefully the bubbles themselves weren't too loud and you heard the pitch moving as well. It's the same thing, just blowing through a straw. So like we're literally just going... but in the water, okay? And the water will help you stabilize. Might be mucus in your throat. I don't know what you mean by gravelly. Like, I know what gravelly means. Like, oh, if I go gravelly like this. But I can't do that. Or you might mean like this. This isn't gravelly, but you might be confusing it for graveliness. This is fry. But again, I don't know how I would do any of those things during a trill. Like if I'm going... like it just stops as soon as I try to add fry or anything. You think mine is also more gravelly on the way down. For you, it's the transition of pitches, and for you, it's the transition of pitches are more smooth but more choppy on the way down. That's how you describe it. Not sure how it is for them. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, do you mean like your sound is cutting in and out? Because again, that's going to be a strain thing. Yeah, yes. So that's going to be a strain thing. Do the bubbles. How do you fix when going up? Voice gets scratchy. Again, bubbles. Any of these things, bubbles. Okay? You'll stop doing that during the bubble phonations. Choppy. Okay. Yeah. So again, bubbles for you too. Okay. So the solution to a lot of you people is doing some bubble phonations. Okay. If you're struggling with your softies, bubble phonations are like the best. The water helps you stabilize as well. It's really good for encouraging that kind of a behavior. When you said you had trouble doing the trills for long, it caused the sound just cuts in and out. Is that strain? Yes. You're doing strain. You might even hear it in my voice a little bit when I do certain things throughout the workshop, because my vocal tract is a little bit swollen right now because I'm ill and I've got a sore throat. So yeah, you're doing the strain thing when that's happening. So anything where you're pushing for a higher pitch, that's what you want to avoid. Bubble phonations will help teach you to stop doing that. You're straining down, fix it. Bubble phonations. Bubble phonations. You won't do it during your bubble phonations. Wow, I'd like to point out, this was full at the start of this workshop, and it's 2 litres. I drank 1.1 litres in the past 50 minutes. I'm slightly confused due to me not knowing how to describe your patterns, so I'm staying for one-on-ones. Okay, no worries, Fire. Anyone else? Any other questions? For most of you, bubble phonations are the answer. Alright, I'm not seeing any more questions. No? Okie dokie then. In terms of your practice, okay. So, if you're brand new to voice training, I want you to just stick on softies for like a week or so. As we've just all been over, there are some really good habits, especially for bubble phonations, that they're going to teach you, okay? It's going to help you reduce that strain. It's going to teach you to keep things relaxed. That's really important for voice training. And so, yeah, I want you starting first week, your very first week of voice training, softies all week. I want you doing them several times a day. We don't need to do the full duration, but we just did. But if you can do, 20, 30 seconds, like... What was that, like 15 seconds or something? 20 seconds? Okay, that's good enough. That's a practice. That counts. Okay? If you can do that 3-4 times a day, 5 times a day maybe, it's going to be really, really good. It's going to build really good habits. And it's going to give you some really nice vocal health for going into doing the real Z stuffs. Okay? Alrighty then. So, vocal weight or glottal quotient. So, I talked about earlier the vocal folds thickening as a result of testosterone. If we want to... let's go for what it sounds like first, okay? So, remember, we're talking vocal folds spending more time closed than they spend open during that closed, open, closed, open, closed, open, closed, that cycle, by the way, the closed, open, closed, that's called a glottal cycle, okay? Because the glottis, what the vocal folds are, it's opening and closing. That's it. That's what it's called. All right? Now, a little maths term, quotient, is like percentage of time, I suppose, or percentage of something, okay? So if they're spending more time closed and they're closing more during that time, that's going to be a more closed quotient, okay? More of it is closing and is spending more time closed, closed quotient, okay? On the flip side, more time open, more being open, open quotient, okay? That's going to have heavy heavy vocal weight, buzzy, all of those kind of things. Rougher, lighter vocal weight, softer, gentler, all of those sorts of things. Okay? Testosterone induced, less testosterone induced. Okay? So, if we want to do this, all right, first of all, the sound you're targeting is going to be, right now, consider this an open quotient or a light vocal weight, whereas right now, consider this a closed quotient or a heavy vocal weight. Okay? Or if I was to drop this down into my unmodified voice, this is going to be your closed quotient or heavy vocal weight, whereas this right now is going to be your open quotient or light vocal weight. Okay? Do you all hear the difference between me talking right now and me talking right now? And do you hear how there is one thing that I'm changing, where we're going from this, you're hearing the buzziness, the roughness, and then I'm just taking that away and I'm ending up over here, well, nice and open, nice and light. So do you hear that difference in my voice as I do that? Okay, or do you hear the difference in my voice as I go from over here? If I go from over here all the way over to over here, okay? Do you hear how I've just changed one thing right now? And we've gone from over here all the way over to over here. Yeah? Do you hear that change happening? I want to see some yeses and nos in the chat. Let me know that you understand. Or that you hear that difference. Yeah? We're hearing the difference? Yeah? Good, good. Excellent. Wonderful. We're paying attention. Good stuff. Okie dokie. So, how do we do this? Okay? So if we're wanting to pretend we... Well, not pretend, sorry. That is a horrible way of putting it. If we want to emulate more testosterone, then we're going to have more closure. If we want to emulate less testosterone exposure, then we want to have less closure. Okay? So, some ways that we can practice this. All right? Firstly, one that everybody can do pretty easily. If we slide our pitch up and we try to just keep things nice and gentle as we go, we're probably going to get a bit lighter, okay? Now I've got a really, really light vocal weight, okay? And then I can drag that pitch back down again. And if you keep that vocal weight, now I'm sounding like this, what I did earlier. So I'm nice and light with a normal pitch again, okay? So we can try that. We'll just pitch slide up, get ourselves nice and light, and then go down again, but keeping that lightness, all right? It's kind of like a sigh. If we imagine like a... yeah, or like a... yeah, that big, like, cartoonish sigh, okay? We can use that cartoonish sigh to bring ourselves into a light vocal weight. Now I'm over here, okay? So I've got this very, very light vocal weight, all right? This is a light vocal weight, okay? All right? Or if we're trying to add vocal weight, okay, a little hacky thing we can do is just bring our pitch down until things get weird, all right? That weird area is called grave, okay? So if I go... now I've got a much heavier vocal weight, so if I then try to drag that back up again, and I keep that vocal weight, now I've got that heavy, okay, buzzy kind of thing going on. So if you're trying to get rid of vocal weight, you can slide up, get rid of that weight, so we're nice and gentle, because we need to be gentle for going up, remember? Slide it up, that'll help you get nice and light, and then go down again, but keeping that lightness. If we're trying to add vocal weight, we can go the other way, okay? Slide down until things start getting weird, all right? And you'll feel it, it'll get weird, okay? And we'll have kind of an area like this. You might even end up with some vocal fry coming in, and it might end up sounding like this, but we want that really heaviness coming in, and then we'll just drag that back up again, and now we're over here, okay? Accidentally went into mask there, but you get the idea. So, now I'm in that grave kind of an area, and so I'll bring it back up. Oh no, sorry, bring it back up with the weight. Now I've got that heavy vocal weight. Can you hear that buzziness in my voice again? Okay, so have a practice with that. Have a play with it. You won't get it at first. Have a play with it. Now, you might click into it more if we go for one a bit more intuitive, okay? That one, those ones I just went through there, works for everybody. These ones are going to be a bit more like culturally enforced, but easier to learn, okay? So these ones just might not apply to you very well. You might not have this as culturally relevant to you, but if you do, it's a nice way to get there quicker. So we can pretend, all right, for a light vocal weight, imagine that you're holding a little baby, okay? And we're just going to really gently talk to the baby, okay? Very cute baby. Go to sleep, baby. It's very, very cute. Okay, you want to be, excuse me, you want to be really, really gentle, okay? Really, really softly spoken to the baby, yeah? And you're really, really soft, just like, very nice baby. Or if I'm moving my masculine, okay, I'm going to be very, very soft and just, no, very cute baby, okay? And now I want you to imagine that baby has just thrown up on you. Gross baby, it's much buzzier in my voice, Or if I go back into my feminine, gross baby, okay? So now I've got that heavy vocal weight, all right? So that's a really easy way to just plug into and just compare the two, okay? Okay? It's very, very gentle. It's very, very soft. It's very heavy. It's very buzzy, okay? That's the difference, okay? Or, really buzzy, really rough, really heavy, okay? Very, very soft, very, very gentle, okay? Very, very light, okay? So there's something you can try as well. We got a whole bunch of exercises for weight or quotient. Okay, and you don't have to get all of these exercises. So long as one of them works for you, good enough. Okay, we can also try our ASMR voice versus our sports announcer voice. Okay, so if we're imagining like softly spoken ASMR, specifically that one, all right? When you hear it, the person's going to be talking to you like this, okay? They're going to be really, really soft, really, really gentle, okay? They're doing their little ASMR or whatever they're talking about, okay? They're going to be really soft and gentle so that for the listener, we don't have any big jarring sounds, okay? We're just really, really gentle, all right? Versus on the other end, we can be like, oh, we've got like a sports announcer voice. Yeah, sports ball. Things to do with sports, okay? The batter has just hit the ball. Runner up, home run. All of those kinds of things, okay? Really, really intense, really buzzy, really in your face. That's going to be a heavier vocal weight, okay? Or if I was to drop things back into my other side, my unmodified side, okay? We're going to be like, yeah, sports ball, things to do with sports. The batter has just hit the ball, back of the net, things, I don't know anything about sports, okay? Things to do with sports, okay? Versus the other end, okay? Now I'm a very, very softly spoken ASMR kind of thing, okay? We're doing our ASMR. Things are really gentle. We just want those really, really soft kind of things going on. And that's going to be our light vocal weight, okay? All right, questions, okay? Oh, also, if you are, this only works for going to a light vocal weight, but if you just want to force your way in there, you can do a yawn voice. So if you just give a big yawn, the vocal tract opens up just fully, okay, everything ends up nice and open, and we end up with an open quotient, okay, a lighter vocal weight. Only really works for going lighter, because we're just forcing ourselves into this configuration. We just give a big yawn, and then we talk through that yawn. Then we can end up in a light configuration. Okay? Alright. Questions. Bring your questions. I need to know you're paying attention. Give me your questions. While you're giving me your questions, I'm going to pop to the toilet, okay? I want to see a chat full of questions so I know that you guys are paying attention, okay?
Where are the questions, chat?
Okie dokie. Oh my gosh, questions. You guys listened. I'm so glad. Okay, so might have asked this before, but you keep finding that your pitch changes along with your vocal weight. And even though I can separate both sounds by ear, you can't seem to isolate both sounds by throat. Do you have any tips? Yes. So, as you heard earlier, we're going to use pitch as one of the ways to modify our weight. That's because the two do have a connection. Okay. If we're trying to go to a higher pitch, things get way easier when we go lighter, and you're probably naturally going to do that. Okay. So I don't care about you completely separating the two, because it's going to help you go lighter, okay? Or vice versa, if you're trying to masculinize, all right? You need a heavier weight. That's like you can go to a high pitch with a heavy weight. You can't go to a low pitch with a light weight. Like if you listen to me, you heard I just cut out there, all right? That's because I didn't have enough weight to go any lower in pitch, all right? So you do need some weight to get to the lower pitch. That's why if we keep going down in pitch, we'll force ourselves to have a heavier weight. All right? So I don't really mind you. Generally, I want you to be able to isolate them a little bit, because like I want you to be able to move around pitch however you want to while you're in whatever you're doing. But you don't need to completely separate them. You won't be able to completely separate them. They are integrally linked to some extent. You have trouble physically isolating individual... Yep, we've just gone over that. Fab. Okay, so you're trying to understand the part about heavier vocal weight. Is it just how you're doing it, or does heavier vocal weight just louder and clearer like projection? So you'll have noticed in some of my demonstrations, things kind of sound a little bit louder sometimes. There's a couple of reasons for these. One, we do just... what's the word I'm looking for? We do conflate them a lot in our own behavior. That's because generally in normal behavior, the normal times you'll have gone heavier in your voice, you're usually trying to sound a bit more aggressive, a bit rougher, okay? You saw the demonstration that I did with the baby. It's because I was grossed out because the baby just threw up on me, okay? I was mad, all right? So situations where we're going heavier are going to be situations where we want to like communicate disgust, an annoyance, and like we're kind of yelling a little bit. So all of those things are gonna include a volume increase as well, because they're just the two things we're trying to do. Okay, if I'm like annoyed at you and I'm yelling at you. We're louder. Okay. That said, those are two different things that are happening. That we're just doing those two things. Okay, and that's what typically happens when we normally do this. I'm trying to teach you to do this in like a weird, different way, where we're going way heavier, okay, or way lighter, and I don't necessarily want your volume changing by a massive amount, okay? Now they're also linked because in terms of like psychologically, we hear heavier sounds as louder, okay? This is because heavier sounds are normally associated with an alarm sound, so psychologically, humans have learned, or it might even be genetic, I don't know. But humans use this, like it's an alarm, you need to pay attention, okay? I'm doing this because I need you to pay attention to me. So that's, all of that is where human behavior has affected psychology a little bit. So you both hearing it as louder, like you perceive it as louder even if it isn't, and you probably just tend to go louder when you've done it in past. I need you to learn to dissociate them, okay? You can go, if I was to go really, really heavy and then go really, really quiet, okay? I can be really, really heavy and like kind of quiet, okay? So right now I'm really, really quiet, but I've still got a lot of vocal weight. Or if I bring things down here, I can be really, really quiet while being as a really heavy weight, okay? At the same time, I could go really, really light, and I could be quite loud, but I could still be quite light while being quite loud, okay? I'm being a lot louder right now, but I've got a much lighter vocal weight. Or if I bring things back over to here, I can be really, really, really light while also being quite loud, okay? There is a limit to how much I can do this, but I can be reasonably light while also being quite loud, okay? So you can separate the two to some extent, okay? If you're trying to be really loud, like you're yelling, then you might need a smidgen of weight to help you do that. But you don't need much, okay? Or vice versa. If you're trying to be really, really quiet, you might want a smidgen less weight, but you don't, tiny little bit. Especially if you're going quieter, like the amount that you should need to like reduce your weight is going to be really small, like barely perceivable. Okay. You're kind of fascinated in a particular voice and you don't know how to get into that range. Stay near that other than slowing down, how to talk a bit and staying closer to the androgynous range of pitch, but notice that I try to get really high, I get airy. We'll talk about pitch later, but remind me of your question when I talk about pitch later. But quick point, pitch barely affects the gendering of your voice. Like really, like technically it does a tiny bit, but like barely. What I'm talking about right now is going to have like 10 times more of an effect than pitch will. Okay? So your pitch can be wherever the fuck you want pitch to be, and it's not going to affect the gendering very much. Yeah, you think you're understanding why you're hearing that. Good, good. Okay? So practice, once you start getting good at getting heavier and lighter, practice doing that with a volume barely changing. Okay? Or even practice getting quieter as you go heavier. Yeah? And vice versa. Okay, any other questions? Do people understand how to do this? If you're scared to ask, just ask because somebody else is going to be more scared, okay? They'll never ask. So don't be that person, all right? I don't want to lose anybody or leave anyone behind. I want you to all to get like the most you can out of this. So if you're unsure of something, there are no stupid questions. I want to hear those questions, all right? Even if you're not sure if it's the right time to ask, just ask it and I'll tell you. Yeah? Excuse me.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I have this problem that, well, I can get a decent voice, but with time, as I do, it kind of gets out of sync, kind of worse, and I have to correct myself. How do I deal with
sorry,
this?
Pause a minute. You're cutting in and out, so I'm missing some of the question. Could you repeat that? Sorry.
This better?
I think so. Keep talking. I'll let you know.
Yeah, so I have this problem that is it still good?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Keep going.
Oh, amazing. Well, I have this problem that I can get a decent voice, well, relatively speaking, but after time, it kind of gets out of sync. I have to correct myself very often. How do I deal with that?
Yes. Okay. So this is going to be a really, really common thing that everybody's going to experience for everything we do here. Okay? Like literally absolutely everything. You literally have the habit of a lifetime of doing the other thing, whatever it is that you're changing to and from. Okay? And this is going to be breaking literally a habit of a lifetime. Okay? It's going to take time. Literally just do your practice. Okay? Every time you notice it slipping, fix it again. Okay? Use the drill that you used to get there. Okay? And just bring yourself back. Keep doing that. Eventually it'll get more and more consistent. Okay? Also, in your practices, I don't want you just reading lines. Okay? That's a good starting place, but I need you to move away from that in time. Okay? Because I need you building that habit as you're just talking. The best kind of practice is just talking. Okay? You can talk about your plans for the day. You can do like a little dear diary out loud, like tell yourself what you've done that day. You can explain something to yourself out loud. You could explain what you're doing. Literally, what are you doing right now? Explain what I just told you in wait as your just stuff to talk about. Just talk about anything, okay? Where you're not reading, you're just talking off the top of your head. That's the best way to practice. It's harder than reading, but it's the best way. Okay? So start off with reading lines, and then always try to move things towards just talking. That's again going to help you maintain that consistency. All right? But yeah, it just comes down to practice. Is there a way to train the voice without making much sound? Most of the times I have people in the house and I don't want them to hear you. I can find time to do train. You messed that sentence up and it's messing my brain. I can find time to do trainings sometimes during the day, so this isn't a big problem, but I just got curious if there's a way. Maybe this is silly. Sorry, your English is bad. It's totally fine. I would just have to go back over sentences a little bit. I'm a bit ADHD, so... yeah, no, that's not silly at all. That's a really, really common thing that I hear all the time. Unfortunately, you do need to practice out loud. There are some practices we can do, like for other stuff. Like as we go through, there's going to be like a thing that is quiet. But most things, I do just need you to be talking at normal talking volume. My best solution for your situation is try changing your practice environment. I know it's inconvenient, but can you just go for a little walk? Can you go somewhere a bit more isolated? You could do it into a pillow. That could quieten you down. So do things at normal volume, but into a pillow. That's going to massively dampen the sound. That's not ideal, and I don't want you doing that as your main thing. Or at least I don't want you doing that all the time, because I do want you to be able to like hear yourself. Okay? So especially when you're like first doing some of this stuff and when you're like learning stuff, I do want you just doing it normally out loud because you need to be able to hear. If you go inside of a car, cars are really good for noise dampening because we don't want everybody hearing our radios. If you missed some of the explanation, head over to the youtube.com/@trans_network. Just rewind it a little bit. If you want, put it at like 1.25 speed and then you'll catch up. Okay? Remember to mute your Discord when you do that, because otherwise it's going to get really confusing for you. But yeah. So if you're trying to be quiet, you can do it into a pillow. That's going to quieten you like a huge amount. You could like hide under your blanket or something. That's going to quieten you down. But I do want at least some of your practice to be when you can hear yourself. I know that really sucks. Find other places where there's just either less people or there's better sound insulation, so that you can have some proper, just normal practice. I know that is a shitty answer, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. Because yeah,
Can I
you
ask?
have to, like, hear yourself sometimes. No worries. Is that a question there?
Yeah. So this is gonna be weird.
It's okay.
So if I were to try to make some of the sounds you're making, is it like, what if I'm not able to do it? Because it's kind of weird how I can't seem to do the your lips kind of like make that like not bubbling sound, like it's what do you call it? Huh?
Do you mean the lip trill from before?
Yeah, is there a certain way to do it with like your tongue or something, or your lips?
Sometimes
Because it's
anything
weird how.
crazy with my tongue. My lips are just nice and relaxed, so I can just kind of through them. Okay, you can think of like we call them a horse sign in the UK. I don't know if other people call them that, but like the because like horses do that sometimes, I guess. It's kind of similar to that. We're just like sustaining it and then adding sound to it. Okay. If you're really struggling with that one though, like I said, there's a whole bunch of others. You could do, or you could do ying, and like we're moving on the like ng bit there, or you could do a z. I tend to find that's a bit harder for people, but you might be limited to that. Everybody can do a bubble phonation. If you can't do a bubble phonation, something's wrong. So if it comes to it, go for bubble phonation. It's the best one anyway.
I'll just do that instead.
Yeah, it's the best one. It's just annoying and inconvenient. You have to carry a straw around with you all day. But hey, if you're feminizing, it's a great excuse for a handbag. I'm just saying. Okay, any other questions? In terms of going heavier, by the way, everybody can go heavier. I don't want anybody saying they can't do it. You just haven't figured out how. Everybody can go heavier. Or lighter, sorry. If you've ever yawned before in your life, you've done trans voice. You can, if you've yawned before, ever, then you can go lighter. Or if you like yelled really loud before, you probably went heavier when you're doing that. So everybody can go heavier, everyone can go lighter. You just need to learn how. You need to learn how to do it on purpose. Okay, no questions. Let's keep going. So I also talked about how testosterone will expand your larynx. It's going to stretch things out a little bit. It's going to expand your vocal tract. Okay. Now let's go over exactly what that does. Okay. Because remember I said the sound, as it passes through your vocal folds, it then bounces around your vocal tract. Okay. So what does that do? What's happening when we're bouncing around different sizes of vocal tract? Real simple. Here's my guitar, okay? I'm going to tap, oh, sorry, this is a ukulele. I'm going to tap on it, kind of like my vocal folds opening and closing, okay? I'm going to tap on it, I'm going to create a sound, and you're going to hear what happens when that sound bounces around this size of a chamber. Okay? Now here's my guitar, okay? This is a much bigger chamber, excuse me. This is a much bigger chamber. So listen to what happens when the chamber becomes bigger. Do you hear how it's a much larger, much darker kind of a sound? Okay? So when we have a really big vocal tract, things are going to sound darker. When we've got a really small vocal tract, things are going to sound lighter. Does that make sense to everybody? We can super demonstrate this. I can actually do that same thing directly on my larynx, okay? Listen to this, this is crazy, all right? Let me find it. Okay? So we can literally change that size by moving the larynx up, okay? We're shrinking everything down, all right? We're reversing the effects that testosterone exposure had on the sound. Yeah? Or the other way around, okay? Let's say you're trying to get darker, we're just that's all we're doing, okay? We're emulating the effects that testosterone would have had. Yeah? So, how does this affect the voice as you hear it? Right now, my larynx is raised, okay? Excuse me. Right now, my larynx is raised, okay? But if I was to just drop it down again, now my larynx is lowered, okay? Larynx low. Larynx high, okay? That was with a light vocal weight. If I was to go for a heavier vocal weight, okay? Larynx is nice and high right now, whereas if I was to drop it down again, larynx is nice and low now, okay? I could drop it even further. Larynx is really, really low now, okay? Does that make sense for everybody? In terms of the sound difference and like the mechanics of how this is happening. Yeah? Good stuff. Sorta? What doesn't make sense? So big chamber, like the guitar, makes a darker sound. Small chamber makes a brighter sound. Okay? Remember, as our vocal folds are opening and closing, we're making sound that bounces around the chamber And that's when that is being applied. Yeah? If I was to go back to our little GIF earlier. Yeah? So that bouncing around, that's when this resonance stuff is being applied. Okay? It's resonating through the vocal tract. Alright? So a larger vocal tract is going to have it bouncing around a bigger area, like the guitar. Okay? Like. Okay? Whereas a smaller area, it's going to bounce around like the ukulele, much brighter, okay? Yeah? Does that make sense? Is that a bit clearer? Yeah, good stuff. So raising it makes a smaller chamber and lowering it makes a bigger chamber. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because remember, testosterone lengthens the vocal tract. So what if we just bring it up again? We just bring it up again, and now it's shorter again. Okay? Perfect. All right, so how do we do this? Okay? I want you to have a go at, we call this exercise for big dog, little dog. Okay? Excuse me. Okay? I want you to pretend you're a really big dog. Okay? Like a Labrador, or like a Doberman, or what, like a Great Dane or something really, really big. Okay? Pit bull. All right? Big dog. We're going to pant like big dogs pant. Okay? Okay? And then bring that into a voice. Okay? Keep it like that, but go into a voice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I've got a really, really big resonance, okay? A really, really big vocal tract size. My larynx is real low right now, okay? Oh. Yeah? Now I want you to try, make a really small dog pant, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we've got a much brighter resonance, okay? Our vocal tract is much smaller. Our larynx is raised up nice and high. Does that make sense in terms of what we're doing? Okay? When you guys practiced it just now, because I'm sure everybody just did that muted, okay? If not, give it a go now. How does it feel? What happens? Are you doing it?
That's the best analogy I've ever heard of with this thing. Very cool.
Yeah? Great shit. I'm glad it's helping you. Is everybody getting that? If you're not, tell me so I can help you. No one left behind. If you put your hand on, oh, I read that as in your throat. I was like, what the heck? If you put your hand on your throat, you feel it going higher. Yeah, it will do. And that means you're doing it right, okay? Now, I don't want you pushing it up, okay? You'll hurt yourself or you'll choke yourself. You could like choke yourself out doing that. Just, if you want, just feel it moving, okay? Ow. Okay, it moves like 3 fingers worth for me. But don't push it, just like gently place it over, okay? So you can just like feel it moving. Adam's apple magically rises. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there's a few other things we can do with this. We can do like a whispered vowel. Okay, so take like whatever vowel you want, like an ah, okay? Just go real low with that ah. And then just bring it up. Okay? And then you just bring that into a sentence. Ashes to ashes. Ashes to ashes. Ashes to ashes. Real simple. Yeah? Now, you'll have noticed we're doing a lot of whispery things during that, okay? The reason for that is, for your purposes, just we'll say when we whisper, there's no pitch changing, okay? We'll pretend that pitch isn't applied to a whisper. Technically not true. I think you can call it non-harmonic. I don't expect you to know what that means though. Technically there is pitch, but for your purposes, let's just say there isn't, okay? It'll serve perfectly fine. So when we go up and down in a whisper, pitch ain't moving, all right? It's your larynx height that's moving. So if I go, that was a larynx height movement. Okay, now important, all right? All of what we're doing here, we're not changing the pitch. Pitch is a separate thing. Remember when I said the vocal folds are where sound is created? That's pitch stuff, okay? When it's bouncing around, that ain't pitch stuff, okay? We call that resonant stuff, or like vocal tract size stuff, or larynx height stuff, okay? Because it's resonating in your vocal tract, yeah? So it's a different thing to pitch, okay? Pitch sounds like this. But what I'm doing is do you see how that's totally different, okay? Excuse me. Yeah, I could do like a little tune like but I can't go like like it just doesn't even make sense. Yeah. So that's where you might start struggling. Okay, I don't want you conflating this with pitch. When I tell you to brighten or when I tell you to darken, your pitch shouldn't change. You can hear my pitch. My pitch didn't move at all there. Okay, it was totally monotonous. So when you're practicing larynx height stuff, try to keep things monotonous. It's going to help you. So you could go like, ashes to ashes, totally monotonous. Or
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So from what I picked up, it's more or less like more pitches like versus.
Stop a minute. Your mic is cutting out.
Fuck.
It might be your settings. So if you check next to the call, like next to the button, there's a little noise suppression. Make sure that's turned off. And then in your settings, voice and video, you'll see input sensitivity. So turn the automatic thing off, so it'll show up as like grey, and then slide it all the way to the left. Okay, it should say minus 100 decibels, and it should stay there. Yeah, okay. Oh wait, you're not quite there yet? By the way, anybody that's practicing with somebody else on Discord, whenever you're doing stuff with whispering, whether it's your big dog, little dog, or whispered vowels or whatever, if you're doing vocal tract size stuff, make sure that you have those settings that I just described. Because Discord likes to cut out the sounds. So like if I was talking like this, or if I was going, Discord would cut all of that out if you didn't have your settings right.
This is the sensitivity, like be all.
You're cutting out super, super duper. I don't know what you're asking. Check for your settings are definitely how I described. So next to the disconnect button, there's a little, or like next on the other side, next to the voice connected button, it should be like a line through the noise suppression bit. Okay, and then in your little like user settings next to the deafen button, user settings, voice and video, scroll down a little bit, and you can turn off the automatic input sensitivity, and then so that'll set it on manual and it'll be grayed out. You move it all the way to the left. Oh, you're on mobile. I have no idea. I know both of those things are on my mobile. I don't know how to change them. Those buttons will still be somewhere, but they'll be somewhere different, and I don't know where. By all means, ask your question in chat, but this is the one area that I can't really help you with very much when you're on mobile, because Discord will cut you out. I won't be able to hear you. If somebody else is able to help Fire figure out how to do this, then yeah, input sensitivity. That needs to be, it'll be by default, it'll be automatically moving it. So you want to switch it to manual, okay, so it is all like grey, and then move it all the way to the left, so it's at -100 decibels. I will leave everybody else in voice A to help you figure out how to do that, Fire, okay?
Is this better?
Talk a bit more. Or start asking you
Is this
question,
better?
and then I'll let you know.
Okay, so my question was, so am I getting this right? Because from my understanding, it's more or less like the difference is like one is like versus the other is like no, that's wrong. I had it for a moment.
Okay, so start with your big dog, little dog, okay? Just to check real quick, are we feminizing or masculizing?
Feminizing. I already have it like a little bit up versus this is my normal.
Yeah.
So I already have it a little bit upwards.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit.
can tell. So
Yeah.
start with your big dog. To bring it into phonation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I want a small dog. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, that's really airy. That's
Okay, so watch that you don't go airy. Okay, if you're going airy, you're just breathing out too much.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue when I go really high.
Yeah, so okay, this is going to be a really good demonstrative thing then. If you notice that you're doing something weird, like you're going airy, or maybe like your vowels are being distorted, if something weird is happening, okay, and you don't know how to fix it, do more of it, and then move back again, okay? So let's say I'm like a little bit with I'm a little bit airy, and I can't figure out how to like get rid of it. Go even more airy. Go like super airy, and then get rid of that, okay? And then go super airy, and then get rid of it, and then hopefully, as you move back and forward between those, you'll be able to move it all the way out, okay? So eventually you'll be able to go super airy, and then remove that entirely, so that now you can be not airy at all, okay?
Oh, because like when I go really high like this, you can definitely hear all of it.
Yeah, and now take it away.
So when I go up high and I take it all away, it goes a little bit downwards. And it feels like it's going down a little.
I didn't hear it go down. It didn't sound like it went down. Are you sure it went down?
Like all the way up here and like right here. Like all the way up here and then like right here. No, it's still so airy. I got a little bit.
So, okay.
I got a little.
Practice that with that yourself, okay? I think what's happening is you're getting nice and high, and then you're trying to go higher still, and you don't know how, because you've already kind of gone high, and so you're just going breathy. And so then you'll believe that it's going up and down, when it's not, you're just turning breathiness on and off. So learn to control your breathiness, and then if you're ever trying to get higher, whisper first, and then bring it out of a whisper, okay? Rely on that whisper first while you're getting the hang of this, okay? You're gonna like for a good while, like whatever you're trying to do with your resonance, use a whisper to do it first. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I would practice like normal.
Yeah. Even I do that sometimes, by the way, guys. Like if I'm ever like just feeling paranoid about my voice, I might just go like, and now I know I'm in the high larynx position. So like if you ever just need a little practice, or you're like, okay, now I know that I'm like nice and low, okay? Like that's totally fine to do. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to it.
When I feel I'm low, I just meow.
What was that, sorry?
I'm just trying to make a joke. It's okay. I said when I feel I'm low, I just meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, any questions, anybody? Any questions? And if anybody is just totally lost, like, let me know so I can help you get unlost. Because I don't want anyone getting left behind.
Hello, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not for a voice. It's like, yeah, I had to eat something and I kind of missed like the whole part. So when's like the next?
No worries, no worries. So I do these every single week, 7 p.m. UTC.
Is it like
Also-
every single time the same one, or is it?
Yeah, it's always the same thing. There's
Okay,
going to be
okay.
little variations. Sometimes I miss things, sometimes I forget things because it is live. So they always
Yeah.
vary a little bit, and different people ask different questions. But
Yeah.
roughly, it's the same PowerPoint essentially that I'm following.
Okay.
What
Because
you
you
can,
just.
sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
yeah. No, go on.
What you can
Yep.
also do is if you've missed a section, I'm currently streaming live to YouTube, remember? So you can just go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@trans_network. Head over to the YouTube, watch it live, and you can just scroll back a bit if you need to.
Yeah, but I don't want a voice trend right now because I just ate something a little bit spicy, and you just said you
Oh,
shouldn't do that
sure.
if
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, then thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, so you can come to these every single week. Also,
Okay,
if you
okay.
want, you can join my Discord. The link is somewhere below me right now. I think is it that one? I think it's that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Right there is my Discord
Yeah,
link.
that's the link. That's the link.
So yeah, if you join for Discord, I can help you like whenever. We have a bunch of things there, so I can help you with stuff. Let's do plugs. Let's do plugs. I haven't plugged at all. I should be plugging. People, you need to remind me to plug more. Okay, I'm not doing that nearly enough. You can join the Discord. I have a whole bunch of different services to do with voice stuff in the Discord. I have like my I do my private lessons in the Discord, and right now they're all free. We are fully booked right now, and in the future I will be charging for some of them. There's still going to be a free option available, so yeah, you can get straight up just free private lessons. I'm the only person that does that, to my knowledge. Yeah, head over to the Discord. Everything that I do there. We've got a really nice and supportive community. You can also, for free, submit like little clips of your voice, and then anyone in the Discord, including me, can get to those. I do get to 100% of those. I will get to them. I don't always get to them same day because sometimes I'm busy, but I promise I will get to your clip if you post something in clip feedback. I will always help people in there. Also, we have a brand new thing. I've just hired somebody, which is insane. We have a makeup professional. They are helping people with makeup and stuff. We've got our very, very first makeup and beauty workshop at the end of the month. The last Friday, is it 28th? Yes, on the 28th, Friday the 28th, and I believe that is also 7 p.m. GMT. We have our makeup and beauty workshop. They're going to go over like facial feminizing makeup. They're also going to go over like masculizing stuff. So if you want to look more manly, you can do that with makeup. It's crazy. Or you might even be able to do some stuff with androgyny. I'm not a makeup expert. They are. Okay. So head over to that if you want that. It's going to be super useful. And yeah, there's also going to be, they're going to start doing some consultations as well. So you can hire them to do a consultation. We do right now have like a little competition raffle thing. So you can get the first one for free. If you head over to a Ko-fi, to all of my Ko-fi supporters, whatever tier you subscribe at, if you comment on, I've got like a post where it's like, hey, comment here if you want to be entered into it. And I'll pick one person who gets Lee's first private consultation for free. So yeah, that would be really cool. Also, if you like appreciate me doing all this free stuff, then you can head over to the Ko-fi. Essentially, the more people that send money on the Ko-fi, I firstly super appreciate the hell out of that. Like, you're an amazing person. So thank you to everybody that does that. But secondly, that allows me to spend more time teaching people. 100% of that gets sort of reinvested into just providing stuff for trans people. Like literally all of that money goes into providing stuff. It goes into those workshops that Lee is running. It goes into me teaching people for free. it just, yeah, all of this is off of you guys' backs. So thank you so much for that. And if anybody wants to support, the link is below me somewhere, ko-fi.com/transnetwork. Yeah, super appreciate it. Okay, plugs over. If you have any questions about that, then let me know in the chats. Okay, does everybody understand the resonance stuff? You're going to hear this as resonance. That's a really vague term, but everybody uses it, so whatever. But really, we're talking vocal tract resonance, okay? It's not my left thumb that's resonating, it's my vocal tract, okay? Vocal tract size, you'll hear it called, or just size, or just larynx height, because that's the thing that we're actually moving that's going to be relevant here. No questions.
I do have one question if I'm allowed to ask.
Go for it. Questions are good.
Yeah. I don't know how to ask this, but like, I usually need to, like, I've been voice training for like over 2 years now, and a consistent problem that I get is that, or maybe over a year, but like a consistent problem that I have is that I need to remind myself of my size. Like, I cannot keep a consistent size. Like,
Yeah.
I need to, it is not effortless for me to keep a smaller size.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's any way to deal with that. I need
Yeah,
to remind
so it's
myself,
just-
otherwise I will like fall all the way down to zero.
Yeah, if you're struggling with consistently, like you struggle to keep your larynx raised, or you struggle to keep that open quotient, or whatever it is, or closed quotient, or larynx lowered, whatever it is, it's just practice. So in terms of, okay, good practice, if you're doing like a practice every day that's like an hour long, that sucks, all right? But if you're doing like 5 practices a day for like 30 seconds, okay, even though that only adds up to 2.5 minutes, that's awesome, okay? I love that. So I want you practicing often. I don't care how long for, okay? That's the big thing with practice. Frequency over like time length, yeah? Frequency over duration, there you go. Okay, so
What is the
regularly,
good size exercise?
sorry, what was that?
Yeah, sorry, what is a good size exercise to do like regularly in small chunks?
Yeah, so I want you to, so an example of what might be a little exercise that you do, okay? You might say do a whispered vowel, for example. We could go okay? Ashes to ashes. And then I'm going to talk about my day today with this raised larynx. So today I went to the beach with my dog, met up with some friends, and we went dog walking together. Then I came home again, we did some shopping, got all the shopping packed away, then I played a little bit of Binding of Isaac while I just had a little relax for like half an hour, and then I got my voice workshop ready, and now I'm here teaching all of you. Boom, there's a practice, done. Okay?
I see.
So that could be an example. And if you were to do something like that 4 or 5 times a day, amazing. You're going to make amazing progress if you do that. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Great stuff. Frequency like every day, or is in multiple times a day? Yeah, multiple times a day, but just short practices. The point is that I want you doing it often. I don't care how long it's for. Okay, what I just demonstrated there could be a full practice. That counts. All right? If you're doing like a sit down, like hour-long practice, that's still just one practice. Yeah? But like the sitting down for like half an hour or an hour, that's for like exploring and figuring out how to do something new. It's not really a practice thing. That's figuring something out. That's like a learning thing. A practice thing is just spending like, normally like a minute or 2, just practicing something. Yeah? And make sure whenever we're doing practice, try to include some just ordinary talking. Ideally, I'd say like a minute or 2, but even, 30 seconds counts. Yeah? Okay, another question, and it looks like I missed one. I am so sorry if I missed a question there. So here is what you think so far. Weight equals how buzzy or fryy your voice is. Okay, not fryy. So listen to 2 different things here. if I'm talking right now, this is a light vocal weight, but it has a whole bunch of fry, okay? Whereas this right now, this is heavy, okay? Really buzzy, all right? Okay, but there's no fry at all, okay? So do you hear the difference between this right now and this right now? Yeah? Buzzy, not fry, okay? Oh, you're talking weight versus quotient. Okay. Weight is going to be like the sound, how it sounds. Quotient is going to be the mechanics creating that sound. Okay? So quotient and weight sound the same. They're describing on different lenses. It's like, right now, I am picking up this mug. Or, right now, I'm contracting my finger muscles, and then I'm contracting my bicep. Yeah? That's the difference between weight and quotient. Okay, resonance is larynx position, kinda. So, resonance is just sound bouncing around something. Okay? Larynx positioning is larynx positioning, I guess. Okay? If you're talking about the resonance of your larynx, okay, then yes, a higher larynx is going to have a brighter resonance for your larynx, a brighter laryngeal resonance, okay? But it's the laryngeal resonance that we care about. Like, I don't care about your oral resonance, for example, because I don't want you doing weird shit with your mouth, all right? You're constantly changing your oral resonance because you're moving your tongue around, all right? You'll notice as you talk, your tongue's all over the place, all right? And that's changing for resonance. It's changing for sounds. It's changing for words, okay? The difference between me going ah and ah is like my lips and my tongue, okay? Or like ah and ts, okay? That was my teeth and my tongue, so it resonated in a way that was just a tss kind of a sound. Does that make sense?
Okay, I'm just gonna get on mic here so that way I can actually talk and not have to type it out. So larynx positioning is more about modulating your voice to achieve a different resonance, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then quotient and weight are like the same idea, but just different ways of achieving it, or
aspect of your voice. Okay.
Okay.
We're changing a different. So like your voice is made up of a whole different things, like a whole bunch of different things. Okay. We have like volume. We have fry. Okay. When I do stuff like this, we have larynx height. Okay. We have weight. Okay. I don't know if I'm probably repeated a couple of these. Okay. All sorts of things. All right. All come together to make your voice. So we're tweaking, like, think of it as like your voice. Okay. We have a bunch of different like knobs, like a mixer desk. Okay. We can move one of those knobs up. We can move another one of those knobs up. And as we move different things, it's going to change different parts of your voice. Okay? Does that make sense? Is that clearer?
Mm-hmm, it does. Yes. Thank you.
Good. No worries. And thank you for the question. I should do that more. I should thank people for their questions, because it's useful to have questions and it helps everybody. And I hate it when you guys don't ask questions. It makes me feel ignored. Frequency. Oh yeah, I've answered that. Okay. Yeah, practicing out loud's good. But if you have difficulty and you're like, wait, something's wrong, I don't know how to fix it, ask me. I want to make sure that everybody understands. Or we want to like build a culture where questions are good. Because if you've got a question, somebody else has that question. Okay, any other questions about vocal tract size, about vocal tract resonance, about larynx height? I'm going to need more water. I'll have to Get my boyfriend to give me a top up. I can't believe how much I've drank already. I guess I'm talking lots. Okay, no questions. Let's keep going. So, next we're going to talk about fullness. All right. Now, fullness is an effect that happens as different as your, well, specifically, excuse me, as the sound created from your larynx height intersects with the sound created from your, excuse me, created from your glottal quotient. Okay? So, if you have a really small vocal tract size and a really light vocal weight, that's going to sound more, quote unquote, normal. Okay? And the opposite end, you're still going to sound normal if you have a heavy vocal weight and a lower larynx. Okay? A darker resonance. All right? Does that make sense? So if your larynx height, the resonance, okay, the vocal tract resonance, okay, if that's in proportion to your vocal weight, your glottal quotient, things will sound more, quote unquote, normal, okay? The further we move from that, the more we move towards cartoonish. Now, this isn't like a super hard and fast thing. Like, you can have them reasonably apart without sounding cartoonish. It's when they're really far apart that you get issues, okay? So you'll have heard as I'm doing different demonstrations, right now, this sounds like a normal voice. But if I go like this, you probably don't really hear people talking like this in your normal day-to-day voice, okay? You might have heard cartoon characters talk like this. So like a cartoon nerd kind of talks like this. This is like a nerdy voice. Or like gnomes kind of talk like this. SpongeBob kind of talks a bit like this. Yeah, this is going to be our overfull, okay? We've got a, excuse me, we got way too much vocal weight for our larynx height. Or our larynx is too high for our vocal weight, okay? If I was to bring my larynx down again, now I've got an ordinary masculine voice, okay? So we're sounding full, we're sounding masculine. Yeah, this is going to be a full voice. But if I was to take that vocal weight away, now I've got like a Patrick kind of voice, like Patrick Star, or like Yogi Bear. I'm smarter than the average bear, okay? Or we could have like, if I had a little bit of breathiness, now I've got a bit of a Pooh Bear, okay? Christopher Robin. Oh, I do love honey, okay? So this is kind of like Winnie the Pooh. We've got all these different cartoon characters as we move around our not full area, okay? This is like underfull or hollow, okay? But if I was just to raise that resonance back up so that it's in line with our vocal weight, now I sound full again. Okay? Does that make sense? Vocal fullness. So we want things to be in proportion with one another. I did not expect to learn how to do cartoon voices. Yep, you're very welcome. But if you're sounding cartoonish, you've got a fullness issue, okay? Either you need to tweak your weight, your glottal quotient, or you need to change your larynx height, okay? Your resonance, your size. And hopefully that graph demonstrates it a little bit. So that line, okay, from like the top left quadrant down to the bottom right quadrant, that can be like our fullness line, okay? I haven't drawn one there, but imagine a line there. Yeah? Now, you don't have to sound perfectly full. And depending on what area in the world you're in, it might be weird or not weird for you to sound perfectly full. If you're in like America, especially, okay, you know the Mean Girls voice? Where is that? Somebody tell me, just give me like west or east or north or tell me where that is so I can start just telling people where that is. West, okay. So if I was to say a West Coast voice, am I getting that right? Because it's like the Cali girl voice, yeah. So if I said West Coast America, did I get that right? Did I do that right? That's like that Valley girl, Cali girl, West Coast. These are all the same thing, yeah? I got that right. I'm from England, so I don't know this shit. Yeah, I got that right? Okay, cool. Okay, so that sort of what we've just been describing, that West Coast voice, that's going to be very full, okay? Over there, they have like perfect fullness. As we move to like the UK, okay, things get a little bit more hollow. You're hearing my voice, okay, my larynx height. You'd have heard if I go all the way to like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a way, way smaller voice than I normally do, okay? But if I was to just bring it down to my normal, it's a little bit more hollow, okay? But for a UK thing, it's a bit more normal, okay? Other areas go like a bit buzzier. So like I know a lot of like Latin speaking countries, like the Hispanic countries, so like Brazil, or I think Mexico, and I think Spain as well. I should know that I'm half Spanish, but it's been a while. They tend to be a bit more overfull, so a little bit closer to here, okay? Things get just a little bit buzzier. So just listen to the people around you to gauge where this should be, okay? I can't really tell you because I don't know where you live, and I haven't been out of the UK very much. Listen to people around you, you'll tune into it. I will do this question, and then the person who was about to talk, I will do your question after that, okay? Off-topic question, is there an audio program or something that can visualize all of this? Size, weight, pitch. I'm sure you'll eventually, I'll eventually hear, is that meant to be? Is very an ear for it. Eventually you'll get an ear for it. But currently struggle with identifying everything by sound alone. I would love something to reference. So unfortunately the answer is basically no. We can do that for pitch. We can kind of do that for resonance with like spectrograms. I don't want you doing that shit. I want you training your, if you're struggling to do it, train your ears, okay? I guarantee, I can't see your full name because of like streamer mode, but person who starts with P that asked that question, okay? Can you hear the difference if I go, ow? Does that sound different to you? Can you hear the difference between this right now and this right now? Do they sound different to you? Yay or nay? So again, that's this right now. And this right now. Does this sound different to this? You can hear it, but you don't know what that is. So that was resonance, okay? You can hear it, you just need to learn, okay? You just need to ear train. Same thing, can you hear the difference between this right now and this right now? Yeah? Can you hear the difference between this and this? Yeah? So you can do it. You just need to learn what those different sounds are. What I recommend is you can re-listen to this workshop when I'm demonstrating everything. So I'm just going to really quick, okay? That graph right now, I'm just going to show you all of them, okay? And then you can go back to this point of the workshop to train yourself, okay? So I'm going to do, we'll start in femful. I'm going to go heavier. Oh, this might be flip for you. Maybe I'm going that way. I don't know. For me, it's this way. I'm going to go heavier to the overfull. Then I'm going to drop my larynx. And then I'm going to go lighter. And then I'm going to raise my larynx. Okay, so you can hear all the different things. So you can go back over this, find the timestamp wherever it is. Okay, the bit. Okay, I'm waving my arms around. Look for that when you're searching through the thing. Okay, or just use the transcript. Okay, this bit here is when I'm going to do it. Okay, so. I ran out of breath there. Okay, once more. Okay, we just went the whole load. Okay, use that for your ear training. Figure out when I'm doing the different things, and you'll get there. No worries, no worries. You can also, to really make it like extra super simple, let me just do the command in my Discord. How do I do this? Is it Celine Clips? Yes. Boom. If you're in my Discord, you can do /Celine Clips. And that will give you a link to this right here. I'm going to pop it into Transvoice. You can use those clips. There's a huge archive of somebody just doing everything in isolation. They're really useful clips. And here you go, Transacademy, if anyone was curious. That's also a really useful resource. For ear training stuff. With that fullness chart on that slide, is there any program or site to tell you your voice in that specific chart? Yeah, like I just said, no. There is one that pretends to, it's wrong. So if you see a website that says that it puts you on this graph, it is wrong. I've seen it out there, I don't remember the link. It don't work. Any app that tries to gender your voice, they're all wrong. Like 99% of them just use pitch. The other ones, I don't even know what they use, but they don't work because I can use this kind of a configuration where my larynx is raised, I've got a nice and small vocal tract size, and I'm really light, and I can finagle that to end up in the mask area. So they don't work. At the end of the day, it's the sound you're trying to change, so listen to the sound. That's always going to send you right. And you might just need to do a little bit of ear training to help you with that. You'll get there though. Keep coming to these workshops, it'll help. Okay? And my HDMI cable just went funny there. Okay. Alright, so somebody was about to ask a question in like out loud, if they're still there, if they still have their question. I know somebody briefly unmuted and was about to ask, and then they didn't get their chance. I'll make sure they get their chance. I don't know who it was, so I will rely on you, or trust you right now, to still have your question. Hello. Goodbye. Hello again. Yes, do you have that last question, or should I move on? All right, looks like we're moving forward. So everybody understands vocal fullness perfectly. If you don't understand it, you should be asking those questions. Okie dokie. Lastly, okay, so all of that stuff, all of this that we've just been doing, okay, remember how I talked about what testosterone does to your voice, okay? All we're doing is the vocal folds are thickening from testosterone, they're lengthening, okay, and the larynx is lengthening. So we do our weight, glottal quotient, that's going to counteract that thickening, okay? And we're going to change our larynx height, that's going to change that larynx height, okay? That lengthening. We've just undone or emulated testosterone exposure. Good job, you just transed your voice, okay? Now I just made it all sound nice and normal. And great, you just transed your voice. Good job. Perfect, you did it. Great job. All right, so last little bit. Make it your own, okay? You'll have noticed not every woman sounds identical. Not every dude sounds identical. Not every non-binary person sounds identical. Everybody sounds a little bit different.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, it's crazy, right? It's super, super crazy, okay? So there's all sorts of other things. Like, I can't go into all of them because it's like an almost infinite list. There are so many different things that go into making your voice. And so many different unique little things that people can have. But some of the popular ones that people like to change, we'll go over now. So vocal fry is quite a popular one. Excuse me. Oh yeah, some people like a bit of vocal fry. It kind of sounds like this, okay? Most people don't stay in vocal fry all the time, but they might just have bits of vocal fry coming in and out of their voice, okay? As this workshop has gone on, you've probably heard bits of vocal fry coming into my voice, yeah? So that's a nice little fun one that people like. Vocal fry is a fun one as well. It gets confused with quotient all the time, as we just saw earlier. And so because it gets confused with quotient, people think that they're hearing a change in quotient. So you can like abuse that, all right? This is only really for the trans femmes, I'm afraid, or for the feminizers. If you are feminizing your voice, you can make it sound like you're struggling to go low by adding some vocal fry. It kind of just, people think that you're doing that. It is what it is. So let's say you can go this low in your pitch, okay? Or this low in your larynx height, or really, something, whatever, okay? Let's say that over here, we add fry every single time we go over here. To people listening, it will sound like that's your actual floor, okay? Even though actually it's a false bottom, and we can go down here, all right? So you can create a little false bottom, make it sound like you're struggling when you're not, by just having fry whenever you do this area, okay? So what that sounds like is, let's say, every time I go a little bit lower, I kind of have a little bit of vocal fry. It's like, oh, I'm struggling so much, even though I could go all the way down here, okay? But oh, I'm struggling so much, I just have to bring things nice and high again, and nice and feminine, yeah? Because every time I go low, it's just so hard for me because I'm so little and tiny and girly, okay? So that's like a nice little hack that some trans femmes like to use. Use that if you want to use that. Pitch, we talked about that earlier. Fire had a question on it earlier. I'm going to bring that back up. Yes, pitch, as I've said, it is like, I call it gendered 0.5 because it's like barely even really gendered, okay? What's actually happening is, on average, women tend to use, you freaking lost sound again. You might find that the stream works better for you then. Try watching on YouTube. And just like mute the Discord, but you can still ask things in chat. Or ask things in YouTube chat, like that's fair too. Yeah, so pitch, I call like Gen 0.5. Essentially, on average, women speak with a higher pitch. On average, men speak with a lower pitch. However, if you have a lower pitched feminine voice, you'll just sound like you have a low pitched feminine voice, okay? I have a low pitched feminine voice. It still sounds feminine. Or if I bring it down to like my masculine voice, and if I go like higher pitch, now I have a higher pitched masculine voice. That's all it sounds like. I just have a higher pitched masculine voice. Okay? So don't worry about it. Put your pitch wherever you want to put it. Alright? If you want a low pitch, have a low pitch. Okay? Alright. This is like, we're almost done, but I need to pee. So I'm just gonna go pee and then we'll be right back. Okay? Prep your questions. This is what happens when you drink like 2 liters of water in 2 hours. Peeing all the time. For the girlies on spironolactone, you're going to be peeing all the time. It is what it is. You need to be drinking even more to compensate. Okay? And even if that makes you pee even more, you're going to have to just drink even more. It is what it is. Deal with it. Bitch. It's just, it is what it is. Spironolactone's annoying, but you do need to be hydrated.
I have a question. I want to like go over and are you gonna make like a VOD so I can like rewatch it? Because
Yeah.
I don't know what the YouTube channel is.
Yeah, youtube.com/@trans_network. The link should be over here somewhere as well, underneath me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, youtube.com/@trans_network. Also, if you click on the Zaraz 1.2, I know in Trans Voice I'm on Zaraz 1.3, but if you go over to Voice Discussion, I would have posted earlier, you can click on that. I have a link both there to my YouTube and to my Discord. So if you need those links and you just want to click through, then you can use those. Also on the YouTube, there are links both to my Discord and to the Ko-fi for people that are looking for those and can't be bothered to type. Super fair enough.
Alright, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. How exactly do you create a false bottom? Every time you go down, add some vocal fry, it will seem like you have a false bottom. That's it. So just, this is your real bottom, this is your false bottom. Every time your pitch goes down to here, or every time your larynx goes down a little bit, add some vocal fry. So this is going to be our vocal fry area. This is going to be our false bottom, okay? Just by adding a bit of vocal fry every time we go down here. Yeah? And be like, oh my god, this is so hard for me to go, even though I could go way down here. You know? Okay, I'll keep going. Alright, so we talked about pitch, we talked about fry, breathiness, some people quite like. So if I just add some extra air, it's all I'm doing. I'm just breathing out more, and that's adding breathiness. It's a it's probably the easiest one. You literally just breathe out as you're talking, and you'll become breathy, okay? So if you want to try that, you can try that. You will find that you need to breathe more often and take bigger breaths because you're just using more air. So you're gonna run out of breath quicker. But yeah, breathiness is something that people like. I need more water. I'm like, yeah. We'll get through this last bit and then I'll message my boyfriend. Oh, it's better. Okay. So yeah, breathiness is really, really simple. Twang is a bit of a fun one. So vocal twang, this is going to be really common in the south of North America. So like Texas and Alabama. I don't know America very well. That area, you guys know, Google it. But if I just, it sounds kind of like this, okay? This can be confused with vocal weight. This is a different thing to vocal weight though, okay? I'm right now using a relatively light voice while also having a bit of twang coming in, okay? If you want to pretend to do this, all right? Or if you want to learn how to do this, sorry, do like a cartoon baby crying, okay? Go like, wah, wah, okay? And then bring that into your pitch. And now you're going to have, bring that into your voice. And now you're going to have a bit of twang. You can hear in my voice because I have the association. I'm almost starting to go a little bit American, where I've got this kind of Alabama or Texan accent, okay? For people that are from Texas and Alabama are cringing like hell right now because I sound horrendous. But this, at least to a British person, is how Americans sound. Yeah, America, guns and stuff. Okay, I'm so sorry to my Americans, especially the Texan and the Alabaman. I'm so sorry. But yeah, in those areas, twang is quite common. I imagine you've both heard that in different women's voices and probably in some men's voices as well. So have a play with that. It's also good to distinguish that from vocal weight. So remember, vocal weight kind of sounds like this, whereas twang sounds like this. Subtle difference, but it is very different. Twang is being produced by like your tongue moving a little bit. Remember, you just go like, wing, you kind of end up kind of being in the twang's kind of area. Okay. Last little thing, obviously, your accent, okay? Some people, because we've unfortunately got a bit of a situation where like half of the freaking voice YouTubers and voiced people are all in like the same area of West America, okay? They're all from there. I don't know why, but they all have that one accent. So we're kind of having a bit of an issue. Also, remember I said that perfect full fem is going to be more of like a Cali accent. All right, or at least it's featured in the Cali accent. So a lot of trans women, especially, that I find affected by this, they tend to float towards that direction, both because it seems to be like a hyper femme accent, but also like just a lot of the teachers are from there for some reason. People tend to drift there sometimes, so you might need to reclaim your accent a little bit, and that might be messing with fullness. It could be messing with any of these things, because culture does what culture does, and we all have random weird stuff. So again, if you're trying to modify your accent, listen to people with that accent, like the people around you, okay? And try and pick apart the different parts of their voice, okay? So for a British example, we have like slightly rounded vowels, like our oral space is a bit larger. We're a little bit darker in general, so our larynx is a little bit lower down. We're a little bit more hollow, just like a little bit. Yeah, this is sort of British femme voices. And then we have other weird things like we don't pronounce our T's, like we'll go butter or bottle or whatever. So yeah, that's all stuff that can be just making your voice your own, you know? Any questions about that, people? And we'll be finishing this lecture portion real soon. I got some thank yous to do, and then we'll move to the one-on-one bit. Questions.
Is there a specific way to deconstruct accents, like to understand the sound better?
Kind of no, because like different accents have different things, so there's gonna be different things to look out for. But look out for some of the things I've talked about here. Like look out for the fry, look out for the pitch, look out for the breathiness. You could even, if you just type into YouTube and say how to do a British accent, somebody will deconstruct it for you. It's like that deconstruction looks different for different accents, which is why there isn't like a one method, because it's just looking at the different parts, and different places change different things. So my best thing, or my best advice would be, you can talk to people from that area, and also just like Google or like YouTube how to do that particular accent. That should help.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I should talk to you then, because I really like British accent. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, cool. So British accents, like I said, we don't pronounce our T's, we go butter. Like I said, we're a bit hollower. My oral space is a bit larger. My larynx is a little bit lower. All of those kinds of things. My pitch is a bit lower. Like my pitch, I didn't change my pitch at all. This is the same pitch that I use in my unmodified voice. So my pitch hasn't changed at all. Yeah, that's what we sound like. Any other questions? Oh, let me go back over Fire's question. You wanted to make that voice. I don't know what Dom voice is exactly. It might be like for sort of there's like the sultry voice. So that's like a slightly lower pitch. Okay, I already have a lower pitch, so slightly lower pitch, and an extra bit of breathiness will slow things down a little bit, and then every so often we'll accent a word with a little bit of vocal fry. But we won't use vocal fry outside of those words. We're just accenting a little bit. Yeah? So that might be the thing you're after, but I don't know. And if you're conflating light and airy, that's a conflation. We had that earlier. Light vocal weight is not the same as airiness or breathiness. Okay, no extra questions. Let me go through some thank yous. So, super special, amazing thank you to all of our Ko-fi supporters. You guys are like the lifeblood of what I'm doing here. It's insane that there are people that are supporting the Ko-fi. I'm super, super appreciative of that. So yeah, tier 1 supporters, we've got Red Kitten, we've got M, we've got MiHuggy, and we've got Himori. Tier 2, we've got Lan Misa, and tier 3, we have the amazing Beth. Thank you, thank you so much, people that give to the Ko-fi. It's because of these people right now that for the people that join my Discord, when Lee does their workshop, these people paid for that. Okay, it would not be happening without these people here. So super huge, amazing thank you to Red Kitten, MiHuggy, Himori, Lan Misa, and Beth. Like, just, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's insane. And again, if you'd like to support the Ko-fi, it all goes back into helping trans people with stuff, whether that's with their voice stuff, whether that's for like makeup stuff, other things that we don't do yet will be like, for reason we don't do them yet, whatever it is that you can think of. Like, eventually I'd like Trans Network to provide all sorts of different services for trans people, but we need that financial backing to do that, so that I can hire people, so that I can spend more time. Like right now I do all of this in my spare time. I have a full-time job that I have to work because I gotta like eat. So yeah, all of that money goes into freeing up more time for me and for me hiring people to provide more stuff for you guys. So yeah, I super appreciate that. And if you want to support, head over to ko-fi.com/transnetwork. There's a link below me. There's a link on my YouTube. There's a link in my Discord. Yeah. Oh, and also right now, everybody on the Ko-fi, make sure that you have commented on that post to do with the free Lee consultation, so that you can be a part of that free price. Okay, and if you're wanting that, again, sign up to the Ko-fi. Everybody that comments on that post, I will put their names in a little raffle, and then we will pick out the name at the end of Lee's workshop on the 28th. So you've got until the 28th. Okay? All right, and that's available to all tiers. Okay, and then amazing, extra special, super crazy, insane thank you to Crammed Voice Lessons over at Singuistics. Singuistics is another server. Some of you will know it, some of you won't. I super recommend. The link is there. Head over to there. Crammed is amazing. Crammed, or Charles is his actual name. Charles is currently giving me training for free to help teach all of you. It's entirely free. He's not getting anything for that. And yeah, I super appreciate that. So please head over there. Give him a really warm welcome. A really warm thank you, sorry. I'm kind of thinking, do we like, it would be really funny and really hilarious and really cool if we could like, I want everybody to head over there at the exact same time, and I want to trigger the little, Discord has a built-in thing when it thinks it's being raided. I want to trigger it, okay? Make Charles know that he's appreciated by making his Discord think it's being raided, okay? I think that'd be so fucking funny. So if you want, all of you, go join it right now, okay? And like, say that, I don't know, Zara sent me or something, okay? It'd be so bloody funny. Oh, Trans Academy, you have to be, oh yeah, you can't do invite links. I'm so sorry. You'll just have to manually type it. I know that's annoying. Or if you head over to one of your other Discords, in my Discord, there is a link to Singuistics in my endorsed service. Everybody head over there. It's going to be really freaking funny if we trigger their little thing. But yeah, Charles is legitimately training me for free. So, like, we gotta show him some thanks for that. And his stuff is, like, really good. He was part of the original group, like Ziana, Charles, Celine, Clover. Like, these people made Trans Voice, as you know. Everything I'm teaching you right now came from one of those people, okay? So, show them some love, and, like, learn stuff. They do stuff all the time about. Yeah. Okie dokie, right. Long awaited. Let's head on over. Hi. Let's do a little bit of one-on-one stuff. So if you would like some help with your voice in particular, or if you have some questions about anything to do with trans voice, anything to do with your voice, then ask away. We'll do first come, first serve, and the workshop finishes either. My voice is starting to struggle, but either when my voice dies or when we run out of questions. That's how long we'll go for.
Can I just say that?
Go for it.
I just wanted to say that this is really cool. Like I struggled with some stuff, but
Yeah.
it like I literally tried Softy, but like trying changing pitch. For some reason, I never did that before, and that fixed a lot of problems. And that
I'm
fixed
so glad
a
it
lot
helped.
of problems.
Well, I'm
So,
super,
like,
super glad
if-
that this helped you.
So if anyone feels discouraged, stuff really gets better.
Yeah, it's all about just getting like different people describing it in different ways. Eventually, one of those ways connects. And like, remember, if anybody's like struggling and has been struggling for a long time, like that does happen. You're not a lost cause, okay? Very famously, trans voice lessons, Ziana, she's like the most famous trans voice person. She goes to like literal like world meetings and stuff, like forums and conferences to do with trans voice, okay? She took years. Like I think it was like 7 years before she was really happy with it. It took her a really, really long time. So, you know, if it's taking you a long time, that's okay. It took me to get where I am now about 14 months. I first produced like this voice about 10 months in. I couldn't do it consistently. It took me another 4 months to make it like the thing that I use all the time, every day. So yeah, just give it time. And like, even if it's taking ages, you probably just need some help. Reach out, get someone to help you. Oh, that box right there, by the way. No, right there. That's meant to be there. That's meant to be YouTube chat. I haven't hooked it up properly. It hasn't been hooked up for ages. One day I'll get that hooked up. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're super, super welcome.
Yeah, I guess I just want to know what your general advice is as to like where this is me trying to do my voice, and I feel like one of the things that I slowly tack on little bits of weight here and there, and I'm trying to like cut that out but other than that, I'm not sure like what it is, and I also feel like I can't really like get louder than this. I can quieter, but I can't get louder.
Okay, let's have a play with that then. So, firstly, I want you to, okay, we're at a car park, all right? And I'm like, you're at the car, I'm at the shop, okay? So I want you to give me a good, hey Zara, hey. You're trying to get my attention, okay?
Hey Zara, over here. Hey, over here.
Sound pretty good. It sounded louder to me. Did it sound louder to you?
Yeah, I think, well, and I think you said, like, I definitely had to tack in some more weight to there, but...
Yeah, so there might have been a tiny little bit of increase in weight. I didn't really hear much, to be honest.
Okay.
It's okay to have a little increase in weight. Not like people normally will fluctuate their weight a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just so long as we're not like all the way over here. Like we're like, hey Zara, then that's an issue, okay? But if you're going like,
okay.
hey Zara, hey, over here, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anyone else? We're going to be going off of whoever speaks next goes first. Ask your questions, or who wants some one-on-one help? Unless that's everyone. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Sec? Okay. I assume that is you asking me to wait a second, and then you're gonna ask a question. But if somebody else speaks, you can sneak in first.
Hello, hello. Can I be heard?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So I was wondering how full you think my voice sounds and just how it sounds in general.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing a bit of hyponasality, like your nose sounds a little bit blocked. Does it sound blocked to you?
Okay.
Like if you were to go like this, does it kind of sound like it's a little bit like this?
I mean, I'm holding my nose now, so like
Okay.
I'm not sure. I might be overdoing something, but
So it might be
when
that
I
you're just...
hear
Sorry, go on.
when I hear my nose being closed like that, I hear the nose actually being closed versus what I'm doing now.
So I'm not hearing a huge shift between back and forth there. I don't know when you had your nose closed and when you didn't. So I think you've got a little bit, we call it hyponasality. It's lack of nasality because we've closed off the nose. So you have, do I have it on my little diagram? I probably don't. Yeah, I do. Okay, let me switch back to a presentation real quick. Okay, you see that GIF there? Okay. You can't see my mouse, unfortunately. But
yeah.
do you see? Okay. Where we have the entrance to the nasal cavity there, do you see? There's like a white
Yeah.
bit. Okay? That bit's flappy. Okay? It can flap up to close off the nasal cavity. And it can flap down to open the nasal cavity. And it does that in certain words. It's like an ing sound. Ing kind of closes off the nasal cavity. Okay?
Okay.
Different sounds will do that normally. And it's normal for it to move down. I think... Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, different sounds are going to do that. However, if we just hold it in the same position, whether we're having hypernasality, too much nasality, or hyponasality, not enough nasality, okay, all the time, then it's going to sound a bit off. So that's what's going on right now for you.
Okay.
What I want you to do is a little fix of this. I'm not perfect on nasality stuff right now, but let's try, okay? Can you just... Okay, mouth open, breathe through your nose. Yeah, with your mouth open. Okay, when you do that, that's going to bring a little bit of hypernasality, okay? So, let's just try leaning into hypernasality and then leaning back again, and hopefully we can center ourselves. If we still go hyponasal, then we'll have a little tweak. So, we'll first breathe just through your nose, even when your mouth is open, and then we're going to try and talk like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm kind of hyponasal. Okay, I'm nasally right now. We could even think of like a villager, like but kind of like this. Yeah.
I think that's another.
Okay, you're super nasal. Okay, yeah, that was perfect. That's perfect. Now bring it to normal. So now get rid of what we just did.
Yeah. This is probably gonna take me some practice.
Yeah. Okay. Have a little practice with it. We can also play around with let me just think of something that makes us go hyponasal real quick.
All right.
My mind is drawing a complete blank. How do I freaking do hyponasal? Because we're kind of getting that like congested kind of voice. My brain is just turned off. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's just not coming to me right now. There's a way, and I can't remember what it is. My brain is blanked. Go onto YouTube, type in hyponasality. You'll get 1,000,003 tutorials on how to get rid of it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. And just play around with hyponasality. Play around with hypernasality. I'm going to type those just to make sure it's super clear. Hyponasality. Hyper Let's see. Hypo is when you've got no nasality. Hyper is when you've got too much nasality. It's the same with like all words, like hypothermia, you're too cold. Okay?
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Sorry, I can't help you right this second.
I mean,
I will
don't worry,
add
it
that to my
happens.
revision because I've forgotten it. Okay, any other questions? Whoever speaks next gets to go next. Speak next to go next.
I speak next.
Perfect. Okay, you get to go next then. How
Yeah,
can I
well,
help you?
actually, most of my problems were solved by Softies again.
Oh,
So right
perfect.
now, I don't actually hear anything wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect.
I don't hear any issues.
Oh, that's so cool! I'm so happy.
Are we trying to masculinize or feminize?
Feminize?
Feminize, okay. So you'll still be moving to the other things for feminization. But in terms of like your voice sounds healthy and normal right now. Sounds a little bit light as well. I don't know if you're doing that on purpose. So yeah, just carry on. Unless it's
Yeah, I like doing light because, well, I'm a kind person. I like to show this in some way.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, your voice sounds reasonably light. So I think if you just start raising your larynx, then you'll get to hopefully where you're trying to get to. Like I'm hearing. Sorry. I've lost my mask voice. Here, okay, this is mask. Okay. Yes, you're kind of sounding like a little bit like this right now. So I think if you were to just bring that, start raising up your larynx, then you're going to get to this kind of an area. So yeah, keep working on it. All right, who's next? Speak next to go next.
I don't know. Yeah, I just want to kind of also know just if you have like a general where you think it's at, and like what maybe I'm doing or not doing, and what to work on.
Is the question what to work on next for your voice?
Yeah, just like where you think my voice is kind of at currently.
So, I can't really tell you where your voice is at currently because I don't really know exactly what kind of voice you want.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to go for feminization, but also like at the end of the day, I don't want like the most like high fem. Like I feel like that'll be the easiest to like get to and then
like
change.
This kind of
Yeah,
voice.
yeah. I feel like it'd be easier to like get there and then change stuff around like once I can achieve that. Like I feel like if I try to go for like a kind of a like femish androgynous butchish voice, like that's like way too specific. I feel like it'd be easier to just go like high fem and then just like play around with it. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to go for like very fem right now and then kind of hone in on it later.
Okay, and how do you rate where you're currently at? What in your opinion would you need to change? Okay, do you notice what's happening?
Yeah, I know. I feel like that one of the biggest things is just like I feel like I can like grab like little bits and pieces, but I can't apply them consistently. I'm grasping at straws.
Okay, let's have a little think. So
Okay.
I've asked you to tell me, in your opinion, where can you make an improvement, or like what do you think is wrong? And now we're like, I'm not really sure. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
You think you need to make an improvement, but you can't actually name an improvement that you could be making. What does that mean?
There's nothing to focus on.
I ain't saying it, but are you saying it?
I guess.
Yeah. You might have done it, gal.
Okay.
You might.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank
So
you.
have a little like feel about it, like have a
Yeah.
proper examine, like how do you actually feel about your current voice? And if the answer is I kind of like it, then that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I guess like part of it is like I am always with my voice all of the time, and so like I can't, like everybody is their own worst critic, so like I can't like oh, I think I still sound kind of like who knows, who knows? It's hard to tell. Yeah, so
Yeah, I have
okay.
the same problem. This is a really common problem. I call it the brainworms problem. The brainworms take over, and you don't know how to gender your own voice, and nothing makes sense anymore. Which is why I went through that little exercise with you. If we are at a point where, when we like just like surgically and like clinically look at our voice, and we find that there is nothing we could really do to change it in a positive way, that kind of means that it's already in a positive way, I would say field test. So when you use your voice, do you get the reaction you want? So like over the phone can be a really good one. So I was like very unsure of my voice. I was like, ain't no way this sounds feminine. Even when I listened back over my workshops, when I listen to this right now, I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to be like, Val ain't a woman. You don't sound like a woman. What the hell are you doing, Zara? How are you teaching these people? You don't even sound like a woman yet. But everybody keeps telling me that they like my voice, so it's like, whatever. And also, like, I was, like, on the phone to, like, we were talking, like, the electrics out or something, and I passed the phone to Robin, my boyfriend, and then the person on the phone was said to my boyfriend, like, oh, you can pass it back to your wife now. And it's like, oh, okay, so they were hearing me as feminine. I got wifed on the phone. Crazy.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah.
Okay, because whenever I do like, I'm like in a situation like this. Like if I'm ever like calling my friends, I'll be like, "Oh, it sounds bad," and then like I slowly like throw out like it just slowly becomes more and more mask because I'm like, "No, that sounds bad. That sounds worse and worse and worse and worse." Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just try
Thank
to be
you
like
so
less
much.
judgy on yourself. And I know that is like the most useless thing for anybody to ever tell you, because if you could just judge yourself less, you just would. But like, yeah, try to just go in open-minded, field test it a little bit, and see what reactions people give. Because I'll be reals, sounds kind of feminine to me. I don't know what people think in chat, but if you're in trans voice, how does it sound to you? Because it sounds pretty feminine to me,
It sounds adorable.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving this resource out. It's really cool.
Yeah, you're super welcome. You're super welcome.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good luck. All right. Anybody else? Speak next to go next.
I'm trying so hard to do resonance, but I forget about it all the time for some reason.
Yeah. So just remember, we can do a big.
It's so hard to maintain. It's so hard to.
It's really hard to maintain. I would say if you're struggling with that, let's just go real slow. Okay. Let's say we'll do a sentence like ashes to ashes. Okay. Ashes to ashes to
ashes to ashes.
Okay, you'll just keep re-drilling, keep going over and over again until this starts to get consistent. What the main thing is listen really carefully to your voice, look for when it drops, and fix it immediately. Okay, you can re-drill to help you fix it. That's going to start building that consistency, and it's going to start teaching you to keep it there. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while, but you'll get there eventually. Does that make sense?
Well, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Just keep drilling it and drilling it and drilling it and drilling it until it's solidly in there, and do that 4 or 5 times a day. You will get it in time. And it's okay if you struggle. This takes a while. So struggling is allowed. Okay, anyone else? Go next to, or speak next to go next. Hello, is that someone going next? No, looks like we're all done then. Okie dokie. Well, thank you so much for attending my workshop. If you missed some of it, then head over to YouTube, youtube.com/@transnetwork. Sorry, no, start again. youtube.com/@trans_network. The workshop will stay up there foreversies. You can see all the past workshops. I've made some changes this time. So this is the latest version of the workshop, and it is, I would say, the best so far. We're keeping these changes. So this is probably going to be the best one, but like, you can rewatch others if you want to. And yeah, you can also head over to the Discord. I'm there all the time. There's like a little bit where you can submit a clip, and I will review it. And I get to 100% of those. I will get to your clip, even if I'm a bit late. I do free lessons, like I straight up just teach people private lessons for free. They are fully booked right now, but they will come back once I finish my training, because like I need the time right now. What else? If you benefited from this and you can afford to do so, the Ko-fi is super helpful. Like, all of this happens because people support at Ko-fi. So if you can afford it, then I would be super insanely grateful to everybody that helps with donations at the Ko-fi. Also, for those that do decide to subscribe to the Ko-fi, again, huge amazing thank you. We are currently doing a giveaway. So everybody that signs up over there, if you comment on the relevant post, you'll see it. You'll just scroll down a little bit. They're doing a free giveaway of our makeup artist Lee. Their first private consultation with somebody from our community is going to be given away for free. So head over to the Ko-fi, sign up to any tier, comment so that I know that you actually want to be like participating, and you can be there for that for free. And for everybody that's in the Discord, on the 28th, Friday the 28th, we're going to have our very first makeup and beauty workshop, which again is going to be hosted by our makeup artist Lee, or they're called Beans in the Discord. So yeah, head over there for makeup and beauty advice, and that is for both masculizers and feminizers, because you can use makeup to make yourself look more like a dude. So yeah, check all of that out. I think that's everything I can possibly plug. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming. Zara signing off. All right.
This being free is so cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're super welcome. I'm super glad it helped you. Thank you. All right, thank you so much for coming, everybody. I love all of you. Bye.
Meow meow.